Tonight on the Northwestern News Report, Evanston Skokie School District 65 votes to cut counselor positions from its middle schools. How the community is reacting.
Plus, adding color to the scene, the Multicultural Center's newest tulip mural in bloom.
And how Northwestern K-Dance made the stage pop at their annual spring show. All that and more tonight on the Northwestern News Report.
It's your news right now. Good evening and welcome to the Northwestern News Report. I'm Alex Jong.
And I'm Margaret Gonzalez. Evanston Skokie School District 65 board leaders voted to cut 2 school counselors' positions from Haven and Nichols Middle School. The decision pulling back on an initial plan to cut all 9 counselors in the district. NNN's Mila Branson has more on what these changes could mean for students and staff.
$90 million. That's about how much Evanston Skokie District 65 is in debt, leaving the district scrambling to make major budget cuts this fiscal year. One of its most recent efforts, eliminating school counselor positions.
These are not expendable positions. These are highly trained professionals.
The administration originally notified all 9 school counselors across Haven and Nichols middle schools that their positions were being cut. But just 4 days later, the board voted 5-2 to cut just 2 counselors and find money to keep the other 7. The decision coming after worries about the potential impact on students' mental health.
We want academic success for our students, no doubt about it. But that can't happen if social-emotionally they're not present in the classroom.
Even though the district reduced the number of cuts to 1 counselor from each middle school, there are still concerns. Donna Dortzbach is the 7th grade counselor at Nichols Middle School. In a statement to NNN, she said, quote, "I fear that students' needs will begin to fall through the cracks, and counselors will be forced to react to situations instead of proactively planning and teaching skills." Now, Dortzbach is unsure if she will lose her job. Community members are also worried. Derek Weeks is a residential counselor for Lydia Home, a nonprofit supporting children in foster care. He works with some Nichols Middle School students.
These kids need help nowadays, with everything. Never know what they need. They need a mentor, counselor, somebody they can look up to so they can, better their life, better their future.
In a letter sent to staff and families Saturday, District 65 Superintendent Dr. Angel Turner said, quote, "This adjustment reflects the administration and school board's commitment to being responsive to community input while continuing to address our financial realities." Mila Branson, Northwestern News Network.
The district announced Saturday that it is also considering cutting its middle school librarian positions in an effort to further reduce its budget. These layoffs would be in addition to the counselor cuts. According to district employees, the positions are set to be eliminated next school year. Librarians will be reassigned based on their certifications, and the union is in conversation with the district about this decision. According to District 65 Superintendent Dr. Angel Turner, next steps may include partnerships with local libraries and organizations to continue providing access to library materials. Turner also said that additional cuts will still be needed across the district to close its nearly $90 million deficit. NNN will continue to follow D65 News as it develops.
A Wisconsin sheriff is suing a Skokie woman for defamation after she claimed to have been held by federal immigration officials for 30 hours. NNN's Darcy Siemens-Bankel is here in the studio to break down the case. Darcy Siemens?
Thanks, Margaret. 28-year-old Sunny Nakvi gained national attention back in March after claiming to have been held by U.S. Customs and Border agents at O'Hare International Airport after returning from a work trip to Turkey. She said 5 other colleagues were held with her. Nakvi claimed that she was detained for 30 hours at O'Hare Airport, the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Facility in Broadview, and eventually the Dodge County Jail in Wisconsin. However, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security released surveillance images that they say show Nakvi leaving O'Hare about 90 minutes after her flight landed. Cook County Commissioner Kevin Morrison, former congressional candidate Kat Abu-Ghazaleh, and a family friend condemned the alleged detainment, sparking outcry and protest outside the Broadview Detention Center. Dodge County Sheriff Dale Schmidt then filed a $1 million defamation lawsuit against both Nakvi and Morrison, detailing evidence that he says proves her accusations were false. Schmidt says, quote, "At no point was Sundas Nakvi in the custody of the Dodge County Sheriff's Office," end quote. He also says that Nakvi's account damaged his agency's reputation. According to court records acquired by the Chicago Sun-Times, Nakvi was charged in 2019 for filing a false police report, and she also has multiple allegations of falsely victimizing herself with claims against a professor and ex-boyfriend at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. Nakvi and her lawyer, Robert Held, did not return requests for comment. Back to you, Margaret.
Thank you, Dar Siemens, for the details. Smith says that the investigation remains active.
April is Distracted Driving Awareness Month, and the Evanston Police Department is spreading the word about the dangers of driving while your focus is on something else. The EPD partnered with Illinois Department of Transportation, Illinois State Police, and other local agencies to crack down on distracted driving by increasing patrols. Commander Chelsea Brown says that drivers may not notice the impact of a quick glance away from the road.
Reading a text, even though you think it just takes 5 seconds, if you're traveling 55 miles per hour, that's like going the distance of an entire football field blind.
The city of Evanston reported 277 distracted driving cases in the last 3 months of 2025, including 255 for the use of an electronic device while driving. Commander Brown stresses the importance of removing all distractions before beginning to drive, including setting up your music and navigation, putting your phone down, and finishing any remaining snacks. She also wants to remind drivers of Illinois' hands-free driving laws.
Legally, you cannot physically be manipulating a electronic device, whether that's your iPad, a phone, a computer. I have seen people on a computer. You cannot have anything in your hands that is going to be a violation of the law. You need to pull over, have it in park if you're going to be operating those devices.
For more information, you can visit the city's website at cityofevanston.org. Coming up, Evanston has a new pickleball court. Hear from the first pickleballers to take to the nets.
My relationship with Giannis is unique. We're from the same country, we're from the same city. Being a Northwestern alum, I think, has tremendous advantages in the sports industry. To me, that community, it's been with me for 20 plus years.
Ready, set, now!
The fastest growing sport in America has officially touched down in Evanston. NNN's Miguel Sang was at the grand opening of Evanston's first dedicated pickleball courts.
Noise is one of, if not the biggest reasons why tennis players dislike to share their space with pickleball players, but this soundproof plastic barrier in Evanston's newly renovated James Park pickleball courts aims to keep the racket inside the court.
The fact that they're dedicated courts is an immense improvement because it's a very different sport than tennis. The tennis community was really sick of us we're much noisier. Not only the sound of the ball and the paddle, but just very chatty.
The new facilities take both sound and wind into account with new barriers.
James Park has always been problematic for wind because the wind comes right off Mount Transport. It swoops across here.
Community members say they're happy that the courts provide an extra outlet to get out and about.
Well, I see some wonderful benefits. Of course, it's always good to have a little competition, but more importantly, it's so important for us as seniors to really just be involved with other people, but to really remove our parts, because it's very easy for us to get stiff after we get older.
Players especially enjoyed how the dedicated courts streamlined gameplay and getting together.
For one, you can see, of course, when you have tennis lines and pickleball lines, it sort of gets blurry sometimes, where the out and in is. So having dedicated courts is always great for being able to see the lines. And I just met these guys today and played with them, so looks, for social gatherings and so forth.
By and large, these new courts aced their opening. Miguel Sang, Northwestern News Network.
You can find more information about James Park's pickleball facilities at cityofevanston.org.
The Multicultural Center hosted Iranian artist Farnaz Koch Siret to paint a tulip mural and perform a concert in Fossey last Friday. We sent our Isabella Kunk to check it out.
Artist Farnaz Koch Siret connects to her home in Iran through art.
I wanted to dedicate this mural to Iran as the most recent turn of events, especially in January onwards. It's been a very heavy news to carry, and we've lost so many people due to injustice.
On April 17th, artist-in-residence Koch Siret unveiled a new mural titled In Your Memory. She painted it with friend and fellow artist Azadeh Hastu.
In Iran, we have a saying where when someone passes away due to injustice, a tulip rises in their place. So I would like to spread this tulip around anywhere I go if I can, to spread this very simple message.
The event showcased Koch Siret playing the setar. It was sponsored by the Persian Student Organization, the Department of Performance Studies, and Northwestern Counseling and Psychological Services.
Just have that little bit of home with me wherever I go.
Koch Siret hopes the mural allows Iranian students on campus to have a place where their culture and their voice is represented.
It gives people the opportunity to actually know about the situation from a first-hand Iranian who's involved and who has family there, instead of hearing it just via news channels and other sources that are out there, because nothing says more than the people who are actually going through this, and they have that lived experience.
A portion of the mural is written in Farsi. Koch Siret translated it into English.
The tulip, lost to the wind, has suffered great injustice. O Creator, what autumn has befallen this blossoming spring? Every tulip that rose from the heart of this earthly dust has only renewed the sorrow, the grief of those who are gone.
Honoring heritage through art. Isabella Kunk, Northwestern News Network.
The mural can be visited at the Multicultural Center. After the break, how Wildcats are learning new languages outside of the classroom.
Trying to work my way out of the prison system was the most difficult challenge of my life. It only became tangible once I became a Northwestern student.
One, two, three, four.
My relationship with Giannis is unique. We're from the same country, we're from the same city. Being a Northwestern alum, I think, has tremendous advantages in the sports industry. To me, that community, it's been with me for 20 plus years.
Language learning can take place in two spheres, formally through syllabus-based assignments and tests that assist knowledge, or informally through low-stakes conversations and spending time absorbing media and culture. NNN's Chelsea Robinson took a deep dive into Northwestern's informal language scene to explore its benefits.
Whether it's tête-à-tête, la table française, or simply finding a language partner, having an informal conjunction to your language learning could make all the difference. Professor Dempster is a sponsor of the biweekly Table Française, where students, regardless of their language level, meet over a meal and practice their speaking skills.
Tend to be more motivated or tend to take more risks in their language speaking. But the ones who, as I said, don't have any grade attached to it tend to just have more fun with it, or just say, I don't care if I'm making a mistake, or can you correct me? Or, you know, be more carefree, if you will, and take more risks.
Taking on a similar role is junior Mia Eliafi, who helps lead Tête-à-Tête, a student-run, casual Spanish-speaking environment.
Being a conversation leader, you have the ability to make it like a little more casual than a classroom or something. Like, I feel like people feel more comfortable to make mistakes, and if I don't know something, then I feel like it's like, okay, it's all chill here and no one's judging you for not knowing Spanish.
Preparing her Spanish skills for her upcoming summer abroad in Costa Rica, first-year Isabella Mason says the lack of professors created a low-stakes environment.
I think for the most part, it's just really helped me increase my comfortability speaking Spanish. I think it's a big part of what you don't learn in class, but it's important to like sit with someone and just have a conversation in Spanish about their day or about like what they like to do. So that's like the best part of going to Tête-à-Tête.
Chelsea Robinson, Northwestern News Network.
Both groups meet every Monday. La Table Française meets at 11:30 in Allison Dining Hall, and Tête-à-Tête meets at 5 in Kresge with snacks and refreshments.
And new chemists are turning natural gas into liquid fuel by harnessing lighting. Researchers harness tiny bursts of plasma submerged in water to convert methane to methanol, a cleaner burning fuel. Using just electricity, water, and copper oxide, this process could be a greener path to fuel. Dane Swiner, an assistant professor of chemistry, is the corresponding author of this study. He says this new method could allow them to treat methane without turning it into carbon dioxide, which warms the climate. They can turn methane leaks into transportable liquid fuel and separate methanol as a purified product.
Northwestern engineers printed artificial neurons that can activate living brain cells. Tested on slices of tissues from mouse brains, the artificial neurons were able to trigger responses from real ones, showing biocompatibility. These flexible and low-cost devices could help make strides when creating implants for hearing, vision, and movement. Northwestern's Mark Hersom, a McCormick professor, led the study. This approach to make artificial neurons is environmentally friendly, attempting to decrease the stress AI causes on the water supply. Hersom says that the brain is 5 orders of magnitude more energy efficient than a computer, making the brain good inspiration for next-gen computing.
We've had some cold days this week. Will spring finally be here?
NNN's chief meteorologist Emmanuel Perez Martinez is here to let us know. Emmanuel?
Like the famous saying goes, April showers bring May flowers. We had a few rain showers earlier, and we will soon see a slight warm up in temperatures later this week. Right now we have dry and cloudy conditions with temperatures sitting at 66 degrees. For the rest of the night, we will have a cold front coming through our area, allowing for those temperatures to go from the 60s into the 50s, along with those clearing skies. Looking at our regional temperatures, we're experiencing temperatures around the same even from near shore into the inland. 70 degrees here in Evanston, 64 in downtown Chicago, 70 degrees in Elgin, and 72 in Aurora and Naperville. Looking at our regional temperatures, or looking at our weather radar, we have a low pressure system over Michigan along with a cold front moving south from Wisconsin, allowing for those decrease in temperatures tonight, but it will also allow for those storms to move east away from our viewing area. Onto our 5-day forecast, starting off on Wednesday with morning clouds, then clearing up by the end of the day with temperatures as high as 61 degrees. Thursday, mostly cloudy skies with a high of 75 degrees, a perfect day to be outside. Then Friday takes a bit of a turn with scattered showers forecasted throughout the day with the temperature at 73 degrees. Then Saturday, we're going to have a cold front moving through our area, allowing for those highs to return back into the 60s with mostly clear skies. Then on Sunday, those cloudy conditions return with us with a high of 54.
Thanks, Emmanuel. Up next, we take you to the front row of Northwestern K-Dance's Spring Show.
Trying to work my way out of the prison system was the most difficult challenge of my life. It only became tangible once I became a Northwestern student.
One, two, three, four.
My relationship with Giannis is unique. We're from the same country, we're from the same city. Being a Northwestern alum, I think, has tremendous advantages in the sports industry. To me, that community, it's been with me for 20 plus years.
This weekend, Northwestern's K-Dance group held their annual spring show at the Ryan Family Auditorium. NNN's Lulia Tekla got a front row seat to the competition.
As one of the only groups of its kind on campus, Northwestern's K-Dance gives a stage to students interested in K-pop and dancing. For junior Elisa Johnson, a space like this has been a long-time interest.
So I got into K-pop kind of like middle school, high school, and I was really into learning the dances, but I didn't have anyone to do it with since that wasn't a thing anyone else really did. It's like definitely an adrenaline rush, and it's just really nice to like hear people cheering for you and to be up there with your group.
This year's spring show is based on K-Dance Idol Star Athletics Championship. Performance director Jessica Gomez said she hoped to create an inclusive space for all dance levels, even leading an all-freshman girl group her first and second year.
There's like a lot of really good dancers in Northwestern, and I felt like sometimes K-Dance only catered to those like really good dancers.
Before the cameras and action, she says she thinks of all the things that could go wrong. But the second the stage lights turn on,
I basically don't think at all when I'm performing.
She says it's her favorite part of show world. Audience member Terry Suenchi says it's a different feeling watching your friends perform.
You see them perform in a way that they don't really perform in real life. As well, they have it's this feeling. They have, for example, they smile, right? They smile on stage and in real life in a very different way. So I think it's something that's magical. Yeah.
With around 90 performers and over 20 dances, K-Dance is helping this spring pop. Lulia Tekla, Northwestern News Network.
Northwestern K-Dance hosts bi-weekly workshops and events that any student is welcome to attend, along with shows every quarter.
Well, before we go, we want to remind our viewers that Politicat, NNN's political special, will be airing tonight at 8.
Here with us to tell us what we can expect, Politicat anchor Victoria Ryan and Jonas Calderon-Blom.
Coming up on Politicat, we break down the ongoing conflict in Iran.
Plus the digital kerfuffle between the Pope and the President of the United States.
And also, ticket prices for flights are rising just in time for Wildcats to be traveling across the country for graduations. What you can expect at the ticket counter.
We'll see you at 8.
Thanks, Victoria and Jonas.
You can watch Politicat live at 8, the same way you usually watch Northwestern News Network shows.
So, back to K-dance. Do you follow K-pop, Margaret?
Yes, I love listening to K-pop. Me and my sister love hearing New Jeans. What about you?
I don't even follow K-pop, but I do have a lot of Blackpink songs in my Spotify, honestly.
You know what that means. Blackpink
in your area. Well, that's all the time we have for tonight. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Alex Jung.
And I'm Margaret Gonzalez. Stay tuned for Politicat at 8. Have a good night.